to think about how long it's been. Way too long.
Weeks. We've just been listening to Claire's plays entertain us.
Ooh.
We haven't been able to talk, but here we are.
Yeah.
It's mid-November. Well, it's mid-November in the stream. I mean, I think they're listening to this on the podcast in mid-November too, but you never know. Hello, everyone. We've got some people joining us. If you want to say hello to us, you're certainly welcome to. Just type something in the comments, and if it's interesting and juicy, we'll throw it up on the screen. And we'll talk about
Cool.
it. Yeah. So, what have you two been up to?
Go for it, Jessie. Loving that face, by the way.
That's called the I don't know what of it. Oh, that was cute. My sister does that face, Jeremy. That's her pretend to be an angel face.
No, yeah. Little sisters do that.
Shout out to Leela, who's probably not listening. Not an angel. I don't know. I've mostly been working. Last week, I spent basically quarantining for a week while I made sure I didn't have COVID. I didn't. It was just a cold. Thank you to my in-laws for not telling us they had a cold and then sharing the love. But I got the joy of working from home with my dog all week, so that was great.
Always look for that silver lining.
I almost made it a full week. I got my results Thursday night, so I had to go in on Friday. So I was a little sad there, but it was very productive. And then Saturday, Joel and I had the great joy of cleaning out our barn and just like throwing junk away, which most of it, which was not ours, and most of which we didn't drag, but we did. So that's my week in a sum.
That can be very cathartic, throwing things out.
I love it.
Yeah, my parents are getting ready to sell the Portland house, and so they're selling things left and right. Everything that used to be in my childhood bedrooms getting thrown in trash bags and or donated to Goodwill. So
hopefully you're a part of that decision-making process.
Yeah. But it does. It makes me feel lighter. Makes me feel like the space around me is like cleaner and fresher, and yeah, it can be a very therapeutic process, throwing away old things.
I love it so much.
I just say goodbye to them. Like, what's that Netflix show? You say goodbye.
Oh, it's it's the Marie Kondo's tidying up show. Yeah, you say thank you, and yeah, I've been working with Joel on this, and we've actually gotten really good at saying thank you and goodbye.
Yeah. Does this spark joy? No, not anymore. It doesn't. Yesterday, we started rehearsals for our next audio drama and Zoom performance, George Etheridge's The Man of Mode, which is a very sleek and stylish early restoration comedy. It's completely bananas. There's a character who talks with a legitimate Lumiere French accent the entire time, played by the once and future Jamie Sanders. And it was really fun. It was fun to hear the play out loud. It was fun to hear everyone's voices in the tapestry for the first time. And I take umbrage with Jeremy's implication that the reason we haven't been meeting for cocktail hour is because of my audio dramas. Those are totally different time slots, friend.
No, I just meant that's the reason. No. I just meant that's the reason because like they've taken up some of our on the podcast. They've taken up some of our.
Yeah, they have.
Anyway, that's all I was saying.
But episode 5, the fifth and final installment of The Way of the World dropped today at 1 p.m. Eastern.
I can now download them all.
You can now download them and listen to them. In fact, when you do, you have to let me know what you think.
I will. I'm going to binge download them tonight. After this, actually, I'll start it now. That way they're loaded for bedtime stories. I'm finding them.
While we're talking, I'm opening a package. It actually has to do with a Sweet Tea thing.
You got to be careful telling people there's like surprises in packages. Because one time when I was teaching
middle school, powder, that's what I'll say.
Oh, that's good. One time I was teaching middle schoolers, and I told them I had a surprise for them in a package. Oh, that's a good surprise. Are those the singing kind?
I'm gonna see what size that says medium, and I have a big head, so that is not for me. But I've ordered several of these because we have a singing rehearsal here in just a bit.
Yeah, you do.
They're exciting.
Ordered all mediums. They're all mediums. So here's what's going to happen. I'm just going to put it on right now. We're going to see how it goes.
Awesome.
Yes, model.
I saw these in use the other day by Cumberland Choral Arts, which is like our community chorus in town. So you've done. You're into Man of Mode mode.
I'm into Man of Mode, and I'm into post production for the Rover. So Wesley Johnson and I are beginning the galactic process of turning all of our disparate Rover audio files into a beautiful, polished, fully sort of musically decked out radio play that we will be dropping in 5 more installments in early 2021. So that's very exciting.
That is very exciting.
All right, I got to see this mask.
Okay, I'm gonna put it on right now. Now I'm not putting the here's the mask. The actual mask part is in there that I'll put on in a minute, like for the actual rehearsal. But
this is like a whole contraption.
It is a whole contraption. It's the real deal. Okay, here we go.
It looks like the masks that I associate with beekeepers.
Oh.
Like the ones that you. Oh wow, yeah, that's heavy duty.
It's like a duck bill.
It does look like a duck.
Yeah.
Is that what they call them, duck bills?
It juts out for sure.
I mean, that's the basic idea, right? And like, it feels better, like speaking wise, because it's not, you don't have stuff right on your lips. I don't know.
Yeah.
It seems like it'll, be something.
Sir,
So we'll serve your turn.
are they affordable? Because I may want to get one for
I would
church.
not call them affordable. No, I would not call them affordable.
Okay.
I think they're
Good
like
to
in the
know.
$30 range.
I feel
They're
like
an investment piece.
I just watched Jessie write something on her like mental to-do list and then cross it off in the same breath.
Yeah, I went, maybe not worth it. I don't know.
But now we have them. And, this is a little piece that goes inside.
Awesome.
So, all right, we did that.
So we're ready for COVID round 2. In fact, actually over here in Oregon on the West Coast, we've just been put under another 2-week mandatory statewide quarantine.
Yeah, I think that's coming. It's just a
Yeah.
question of when.
Yeah.
My guess is actually like the Saturday after Thanksgiving, because I think they're gonna, I don't know, maybe Thanksgiving, so they don't want people going to all the Black Friday sales. I don't know.
Right.
But I think it's coming. I think we lost Jessie.
I think we did too.
I think she just disappeared, and I don't know what's up. So she's just gonna come back sometime.
Great.
And let me see if I can add her. We're calling her. This will be great. In post, we're gonna. Well, hey, she's back.
Apparently, I had internet issues just then, which never happens. I don't know. I'm sorry.
You're back, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
We are theoretically going to talk about The Knight's Tale today.
Knight's Tale.
Knight's Tale.
Which is our name for Shakespeare's 2 noble kinsmen.
Mm-hmm.
Shakespeare's 2 noble kinsmen. And Fletcher. I always feel compelled to say.
And Fletcher, yeah.
Is an underrated contributor to many of the late Shakespeare plays. The Tempest, 2 noble kinsmen, Henry VIII, probably, and some others.
Oh, yeah. He must have influenced all those stage directions in Henry VIII.
Yeah, they're like a paragraph long.
Yeah, they're so long.
Either that or they got a really good stage manager to write down whatever they were doing for the first time in a while. I don't know. But he's important. He's a good guy.
Well, currently to me joining Sweet Tea, but Jeremy and Jessie, you were both a very big part of it. So we should probably start with the testimony of you two. What was it like working on that show? It came at a weird time.
Yeah, it did. Jessie, you should go first.
Oh, we kind of talked a little bit last week. So, but yeah, it was really weird. And it was kind of like overlapped a little bit with Midsummer. So that was kind of cool. It was hectic. It was a lot of weird last minute decisions. Not last minute, because we were talking about them through the whole process, but a lot of changes, which is just very much 2020 in a nutshell. This production, I think, wrapped all of that up.
Yeah, I mean, it was, nothing about it like conformed to the plan, except for the parts of the plan that like came into fruition like 10 days before we did it. But like this was supposed to be sort of in rep with Midsummer, and we had an outside director, Dennis Henry, lined up to direct it. And of course, when COVID happened, that all collapsed. We had a whole cast, and that all most of the folks did not choose to stay, and so we kind of redid the script and rearranged part assignments and conventions, because when you have 8 people versus 13 or 14 or 15, it just sort of changes the way you have to do things. So we made the adjustments, and in the sort of working agreement was that there wouldn't be a director. I mean, I sort of played that part, but sort of didn't. I mean, we met via Zoom for several sessions before we went into the room, just to sort of craft what the plan was as a group of people. I think it was 8 actors and me, and just sort of make sure everybody was on the same page, text-wise and convention-wise. And then we met in a room at social distance with masks on, I guess for about 9 rehearsal days or so, roughly, and then we went and filmed it over 2 or 3 nights. And so it was for us, it was a pretty rushed process, but we did that on purpose so we could be in and out. So it was an adventure. That's what I'll say.
Now I have a question.
On demand.
Yeah, I have a question. Thinking about this, because I just thought about it. Had you ever worked like directing something that you knew was going to then end up filmed, like with that being the goal, that this is going to be the primary way this is going to be distributed, or was this the first?
Not of this scale. I've done like smaller things that I knew were going to be film oriented, but I haven't done a 2-hour stage piece. No, that was different. That was a different experience. So, and an adventure too.
Would you do it again?
Well, we are doing it again because I think the COVID solution is, and actually there are good reasons to do it anyway, quite aside from COVID. But I think the COVID solution is plan to record everything so that people who can't get out as an access issue in COVID, right, can still see the show. But I think that extends. It's a good idea to do. COVID may have prompted it, but it's a good idea to do anyway, because there are some access issues. Folks who can't get out, folks who can't drive at night, and good reasons to have that as a way you're doing output. And I mean, I think the thing that's pulled us back from doing that in the past has simply been like, we're a small organization, and that's a whole other sort of rig and group of people that you have to be able to pull it off. And we know a lot of talented people, but it's a big challenge to throw on to a regular production process. It requires an extra like 2 weeks to do it right, I think. And so that's what's sort of held us up in the past. But I think now, knowing that like building it as an expectation, I think is something we can do.
Yeah. I mean, I've minimally worked in film as an actor, but never in the context of it being theater for film. It's always been, this is film for a film medium, as opposed to we are trying to translate one medium authentically into another. That the way that so many theaters have pivoted, the way that Sweet Tea pivoted, I find really inspiring, because it is not easy. There's such different modes of storytelling. And as a playwright and someone who's very interested in and daunted by screenwriting, like I'm always sort of thinking about the difference between how you tell a story on a screen versus on a stage. And it was really fun to experience Knight's Tale on film, because it was like I knew watching it, I was like, this is the only way I was ever going to see what they were working on. Like, because COVID sort of destroyed the opportunity to experience it live. This really is the next best thing. And also it was so fun to see like people on a stage together. Like I remember when I watched it, I think I watched it in May or June, like I watched like a rough cut like earlier in the summer. And that was when we were deep into COVID quarantine. I was like, oh wow, look at all those humans in one place. What a concept. So it's, like, I applaud you both, especially Jessie being the stage manager. So trying to be the captain of a ship that suddenly just totally changed course to avoid like an unexpected iceberg. It's like sprung up out of nowhere. It took a lot of agility on y'all's part, and I think you did a beautiful job.
Yeah, I think also, like, I mean, it was difficult, I think, at least for me to adjust. And Jeremy, I'm sure you could probably say the same, that this whole juggling thing's been complex. But I think there was a release that came as well. Like, we talk about that, oh, wow, there's people in the same room as each other. But we were actually, I think, feeling the same way, being in the same room as other humans and not the people who you live with day in and day out. One of them was my brother. So, I mean, that jokes aside, I do see him quite frequently, but it was just really nice to be in the room with bodies and voices and just play. Because, we did work really hard, but there was a lot of play too. Like, I'm just thinking about all the goofing off we did, trying to figure out what to do with our opener. Or what to do with the ship scene. And so those two in particular were really fun just to play with.
Yeah, I think so. One of the things I learned is that, I mean, if I had to do it again, or when I do it again, which is, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks from now, maybe 4 months from now, maybe a year, I don't know. I think I would, so we did a 3-camera setup, stationary cameras. I think I would do it differently. Like, I think I would have some dedicated rehearsals where the camera could get into people's faces and follow them around and do some things like that. I think that would be the big difference. I mean, and that's a sort of I don't know, a spiritual thing, that because we're our productions tend to want to include the audience, and I in a film version, the way to do that is to sort of let them see what a character sees and that sort of thing,
Yeah.
from up close. And so I think that would be the change I would make if we did it again, when we do it again.
I like that.
Mm-hmm. Were you using the new Playhouse?
Yeah, we used the new Playhouse. And it's a good thing we did. I actually had a chat with our Arts Council. Thank you, Arts Council. They gave us a grant to pay for roughly half the Playhouse. And so I had a meeting with them a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and they were asking maybe it was last week. They just wanted updates about how we were doing, because they gave us this money to do all this programming with this Playhouse. And like, well, it's COVID time, and they're cool with that. I mean, it was a great conversation. I said, but we actually have a project that's coming out that features the Playhouse. So I feel like we're making good on the promises we said we would make, even though COVID has invaded the rest of our intentions. And they got a kick out of that. So
good.
That's good.
Yeah. Were they astounded at the proliferation of digital content we've committed to making?
Well, I will put it to you this way. I think everyone's astounded by the proliferation of digital content. I think, well, first of all, I will say, I can say this in an unqualified way. There are 2 other theaters in Fayetteville, and there are several in the Triangle. And I am confident that we are producing more digital content than anyone else in those areas. And there are some people doing really good, cool work, but we are, I would say, by far the most prolific. I mean, we were going to do like 17 productions. I think it was actually more like 13 titles, but we repeated some of them and brought some back, particularly the lits. And we're going to exit this season having done, I don't know, like 30. So I feel just fine, and I feel like we've made good on the things. We are nothing. Sweet Tea. One of our things is that we try to over deliver on value, and yeah, we've done that. Very confident in that. Very confident in that. So, I just want to say about Knight's Tale. I mean, if you want to see like what an experiment looks like, I mean, and I don't mean that just in like, it's fun to watch, right? But like,
Mhm.
if you want like an anthropological study of the COVID moment and sort of the pressures that it puts on theater companies as they try and figure out, it's a pretty cool artifact in that regard, and you'll have some fun too. I mean, I
Mhm.
think the story's cool. I'd do that story over and over again.
It was a cool story.
It was. I've said
Yeah.
before to you. It was my MFA project, so I feel like it and I are pretty good friends. So, you know.
Yeah, it's a fun, exciting, like zany play. And I think you're right. I mean, it's a really important and interesting like time capsule of
Mhm.
its moment. And it really does, I think, give truth to that old adage that like limitations breed creativity, that like when we are limited, we are at our most creative because we have to be. I feel like you're watching a group of people working in real time in that play to be as ingenious and creative and innovative as they possibly can without some of the things that we as theater artists come to expect in our performances, right? Like without the energy of an audience, without the ability to be, as physically intimate or dynamic as we like.
Okay, we're back. I think we, the internet. I'm in downtown Fayetteville, so it could be a thing. There's a whole war going on about the internet and 5G
Oh,
signals in downtown Fayetteville right now.
yes, that is true.
Oh, really?
It's such a war that I got to be on the radio about it this morning. That was
Oh,
yeah, I'm on the Historic Resources Commission, and it was like a little I was interviewed.
what station interviewed you?
WFNC, I believe, are their call letters. It's local talk radio.
Okay.
Goldie interviewed me.
Cool.
Goldie's is a friend of the
Goldie.
theater. He's
Thanks,
been to
Goldie.
Sweet Tea Shakespeare, so thank you, Goldie. But yeah, there was a little bit of a connectivity war downtown Fayetteville. Oh,
Jeez.
who knew?
I believe it. I believe it. Internet in like North Carolina is just such a thing.
Oh, no, don't say that.
You're probably okay. You're moving to the Triangle. You're probably fine.
Yeah, they've got the
Yeah.
Google and all of that up there. You're
Yeah.
going to be fine.
It's fine. We had a lot of rain this week.
Wait, so Jeremy, if people want to watch Knight's Tale, how would they go about it?
So this is the way they would go about it. They would go to our website, which is sweetteashakespeare.com, and you'll see Knight's Tale, and it's running from now. What I should say now is mid-November through the end of November, and then it's going to be done. And we might bring it back as something later, but it's a limited run. You get your ticket, you get a little link on demand. You just watch it whenever, wherever you want. It's right at a couple hours, so grab a ticket. And it's pay what you will, starting at $10. So you pay $10, your entire household could see it.
Yeah, it's true.
And it's the thing.
And if you are in need of a good podcast, I recommend heading over to the Sweet Tea Shakespeare Hours, because all 5 episodes of The Way of the World, the first radio play in my digital restoration series, they're all up on the podcast, and you can listen to them. Jessie's holding up her phone right now. Yep, way to go.
I
just
just
want to say about
downloaded
this. So
Shopify.
I listen to Way of the World. Generally, I'm on the treadmill when I listen to Way of the World,
Sure.
and uh, more than a small handful of times, I have nearly fallen off. And so I just want to say, as a safety note to those of you out there, it's darling, it's lovely, it's goofy, and you could fall off the treadmill if you're not careful. So just as a public service announcement, I just want you to be aware.
Is it safe for driving, or should I reserve it only for dishwashing time?
Driving's fine. Driving
Okay.
seems totally fine. You know,
Cool.
just yeah.
Eyes on the road.
It's captivating.
It'll be like going on a road trip with the
Nice.
like just wackiest rich people you've ever heard of, and they're infinitely smarter servants.
Yeah, and what I want to say about this, so I'm going to sing the praises of the audio dramas and the digital restoration series. I almost said Renaissance. Did you hear that? That was a Freudian slip.
I mean, they do
This is
echo back a
because-
little
this is
bit to
because
the
I'm a
Italian.
Renaissance person, and Claire is a restoration person, and we don't hold it against each other for the most part. But what I want to say is, if you're a podcast listener, most podcasts you experience are like this. It's just talking heads, right? It's just people talking to each other and having a conversation. If you happen to be interested in it, that's great. But more now in COVID, but very few are like, put you inside the story, and these certainly do that. So it's a nice change of pace. I mean, I mostly listen to like news and like, I don't know, I listen to the Pete Holmes podcast and other things, and Brene Brown, and it's like, it's great, but like this is like a real
Your story
it's different, and
sometimes.
it's refreshing, and you'll get it.
Light.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm
for saying
excited. Yeah.
I'm very proud of it. I'm very excited to be sharing it with the world. So thank you.
It is really hard to find like theater in podcast form. Like, seriously. I have Google searched it, especially like Shakespeare. So we should definitely do some more Shakespeares.
We are actually.
Oh!
We are. We're doing
Sort of.
12th night this weekend.
That's exciting.
And we'll have an all-women Two Gentlemen of Verona coming out.
It's coming. They're coming.
They're coming.
Lots of exciting things coming up. Y'all set your, I don't know, pay attention to us. I don't know where we send our alerts. Make sure you're subscribed to our email.
Yeah, and our podcast.
And our podcast and our Facebook and all those things.
That's right.
So stay
If you go to the website, it will ask you to sign up for the email list like right when you go on. The podcast, you just look wherever you find podcasts, and it'll be there.
Just search Sweet
The
Tea
only place
Shakespeare.
I don't think we're at yet, with, is Amazon. I don't think we're with the Amazon podcasts, but we're going to work on that.
Hmm.
We're everywhere else.
Are we at Amazon Smile?
We are.
Cool.
Good,
So
good.
while you guys are doing your black, I know those starting, you can donate to us.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't waste your
We've made
dollars.
Literally dozens of dollars.
It's
least
free.
from Amazon Smile. All right, I'm actually headed to a rehearsal. That's why I got the masks. We're gonna like practice musical stuff.
Yeah.
Like a
Have
group of people
fun.
is going to be in the same room, and we're going to look at each other from a distance, and we're going to sing songs.
Awesome.
We're going to see how it goes.
Godspeed.
Yeah, we're going to try and
Okay.
record on Thursday and Friday, maybe. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
If we have to, we'll go long distance, but hopefully we don't have to. We may have to sing at each other from across a parking lot or something, but it's doable. We've done stranger things.
Stranger things happen.
Do we have very long mic cables?
We have wireless mics. That's even better.
Oh,
Oh, there you go. It's like it's the 21st century or something.
I know. It's hard for a Shakespeare company to do that, but anyway.
I think we're doing pretty good.
All right, friends. Have fun.
Awesome.
At your next
Didn't see
thing,
you both.
you're at rehearsal tonight as well, I think.
Mine's tomorrow, but thank you.
Tomorrow. Yes.
Night off.
Very
Enjoy.
good.
I'm going to pizza night with family.
Oh, you go, girl.
Stuff my face. I've had the bad habit of eating 5 slices of pizza in an evening lately. Don't judge me.
You're the size of a hamster. How is that possible?
I don't know. I wasn't able to time, like not since high school, but it's back. So that's kind of terrifying.
Your superpower. I love it.
I need to watch it. It's going to catch up with me one day.
All right, friends.
Bye, friends.
I will see you.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody, for joining us. We will see you next time.
Woot.
TTFN.